Today I want to show you how you can bookmark your URL for your About page to share with our group in Diigo, and how you can use Diigo to comment on one another's web pages, particularly on the About pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my browser. I use Safari. And I'm going to type in Diigo, and I'm going to navigate to Diigo. So this is my library. So for the purposes of this activity, I'm going to be working in our group. So I'm going to go to my groups, which is called EdTech Class Steadwords. Before I bookmark and share my About page URL here, first I'm going to go and enable the Diigo Let tool in my browser. And the way you can do this is you can navigate up here to your little account drop down, and you can click on Tools. And here you can enable Diigo Let, which essentially allows you to take this Diigo Let button and drag it up into your bookmarks. So now whenever I go into different sites, I can always come up to my Diigo Let button in the bookmarks, and it'll enable this tiny button bar. So I can highlight anything I'm looking at, bookmark it, add a sticky note, put it into my library to read later, or share it with others. And it also gives me a quick link to my Diigo account over there in groups. So you want to enable the Diigo Let tool in your bookmark bar. You can watch this tutorial if you need a little background on that too. So for the purposes of this activity, I'm going to go back to my library. And I'm also going to open a new tab. I'm going to open up my WordPress account. There it is. And I'm going to be sharing my About page this week with everybody to get their analysis and feedback. So I clicked on my About page, which is still a mess, still under construction, not ready, it's not due till Thursday. And then I'm going to copy and paste, so highlighting, copying, and then I'm going to come and bring that, so I'm just sharing the address for this page, bring that over. Now I clicked into Diigo, and I'm going to add, I'm going to go to my group, and I'm going to click into the group, and I'm going to bookmark my About page URL. And there it is. I'm going to click Next. And this is the URL. This is the title of the page I'm sharing, the content. And this is a comment. This is obviously not comment I have created. It's default content. I can frame what people are looking at. So in this case, this week, please take a close look at the way I am using images and text to explain who I am as a site author, composer. And if I want, I can add some tags, class, I don't know. There it is. Anyway, it's posted. So here it is in our group, shared with our group. So I'm going to click. Now we're going to move to thinking about how to annotate and provide, so highlight and annotate. What we see when I say annotate, I mean take little notes. That's really what I mean. So I'm going to click on to this About page through the URL that was provided in the group. And here I am. And I'm going to click on the Diigo Let tool. You can see it's already marked up because I did that in preparation for this tutorial video as I tried out the different tools to see how they worked. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to do this again. This time I'm going to change the color of the highlighter because someone's already highlighted in yellow. So I'm going to highlight in pink, and I'm going to say something about this title. And I highlighted it, and I'm also going to include a sticky note. Whoops. Let's go back. Hover over it, a little button comes there. Add sticky notes. I'm going to say this layout seems clunky. Perhaps you could change the font to make it all fit on one line or shorten the title. I like the mix of names people use to refer to you, but it seems too long for a title. So that's my annotation, my little note about what I've highlighted specifically. And you can see down here it's got my who's actually doing the highlighting. So I'm going to click Ed Tech Class Steadwards. This is where I'm going to share. I can keep it private and annotate just for myself, or I can share with the group. I'm going to share this with the group because that's part of the assignment. And I'm going to click Post. And if we come back, you can see there's a floating sticky note over here, so that doesn't have any highlighting. It's just a floating sticky note. Talks about, and it says here, you need images to personalize your site and draw the reader in. That's a note I left earlier. So but anyway, you get the sense that if we stand away, we can see the highlights, we can see the notes. This is a highlighted note, this is just a floating note. And when you hover over things, they drop down. So you can see kind of the overall, and then you can go in for detail. So now I'm going to show you one more thing before we go back to the group. If you come over here to your Diigo Let toolbar, you can click on Get Annotated Link. And if I click on that, it gives me a unique link to this page and the highlighting and notes that have been taken on it. So it doesn't show me the actual page online that everybody sees publicly, which is your WordPress page, without any of these highlights. It shows what's happened in Diigo. So I can actually take that link, highlight it. In this case, it gives me the directions for doing that. Control C to copy it, and I can email it. In this case, I'm going to email it to myself, ejohnso1@steadwards.edu, and I can put in a message. Hi, Liz. I enjoyed reading your page and have included my notes. I hope they're helpful as you revise, period. And it says here you can include quotes, or you can take them out. If you include the quotes, it shows the things that you've actually written on your note. If you don't, it's just the message. I'm going to include them so they don't necessarily have to navigate if they don't want to, unless they want to see the notes in context. And I'm going to click Send. So now I can also come back here and take a look. In our group, I navigated back to Diigo. Here I am in the group, and I'm going to refresh the page. And you can see here on my About page, it's had 2 views and it's got 7 comments. If I click there, I can see all the comments. I can see that they've come, there's a floating sticky note. So I can scroll down here, you can see all the different annotations. Now this becomes useful if I click on the link. Here's my About page originally, but if I click on the Diigo Let toolbar, it shows me all the work that people have done to take a look at the page. For some reason that up, and then there's and you can also see the highlight up here about my About. So earlier notes I took, before I was getting ready to do this for you all, and then the note that I did here in process in the film. So that's essentially what I'm asking you to do this week. I'll post some questions that you can draw from as you analyze two peers' websites. I'd encourage you to do more, but two closely. And just take a look at people's sites, and that'll be it. Check Blackboard for the more details. This is just the Diigo tutorial.